monk who founded the order of the Ramakrishna Mission, Swami Vivekananda, believed and said, "Education is the manifestation of the perfection within us." What did he mean by that? He meant that all of us have the seeds of potentiality within us. And it is our duty to manifest and educate and train our minds to bring out all that potentiality within us against all diversities and all adversities. The seed of a banyan tree is this small, but when it grows into such a majestic tree, it manifests its fullest potential, which is in that little tiny seed. We are unique human beings, each one of us, and that is why we all have our unique challenges in life. But again, it is up to us to rise against those challenges, fight it with all our power and inner strength, and make some sense of our life, which we were destined to do by the Almighty will. My biggest challenge in life was my bad health condition from the time I was this small, and the huge baggage, the emotional baggage, which comes with every disease. But still, we make some sense of ourselves. Emperor Ashoka, the mighty warrior, when he was a little boy, Prince Ashoka, and his guru would come to train him and tutor him. At the end of each day, the guru would ask him, "Prince Ashoka, how are you today? How was your day?" And Prince Ashoka would say, "Better than yesterday, but not better than tomorrow. Better than yesterday, but not better than tomorrow." He was displaying an attitude in the pursuit of excellence, in the pursuit of perfection. From the time he was born in a hut in Rameshwaram, through his long journey through the laboratories of India, to his official landing in the Rashtrapati Bhavan, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam had only one aim in life, and that was the pursuit of excellence, not only for himself, but for the entire nation. This iconic man was introduced to the mainstream of national service by another iconic man, Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, the industrialist, the innovator, and the visionary, and the father of India's space program. All these great stories of great people tell us that this need for this quest for excellence and this quest for perfection within us is the highest need of man. An eminent psychologist, Abraham Maslow, founded the theory of the need hierarchy in a pyramidal form, and he called this need as the need for self-actualization. According to him, need for self-actualization is the highest need which a man can aspire for. So in his need hierarchy pyramid, he placed it at the apex. On the lower levels are the survival needs. We need to eat, we need water, we need sleep. Then he put the security needs. We all need a job, we need money, and we need a shelter over our heads. On the third rung are the social needs. We all need love, belonging, family, friends. We need to marry, and we need to raise another family. But on top of the pyramid, he put the need for self-actualization. It's a beautiful need. And it can be developed. It can be developed by aiming high, by setting higher goals, by motivating ourselves, by competing with ourselves like Emperor Ashoka did, or by competing with others and the rest of the world like Dr. Abdul Kalam and Vikram Sarabhai did. We can also inculcate this need by setting a unique example, by doing something extraordinary and being different from everybody else. It can also be inculcated by devoting yourself to one single cause in life and saying, this one thing I do for the rest of my life. It's such a beautiful need. It elevates the human mind. It puts you into a state of mental bliss. It allows your creative juices to flow. And people, when they get into a state of flow, feel absolute happiness. And the material rewards also flow when the creative juices flow. We know that. But there is a trap here. Sometimes people can get trapped into the material dimension of this need. But there are many others who do not get trapped in this material dimension. And they may just go beyond that and not bother for the rewards, honors, recognitions of others. And even among these creative geniuses whom they admire and appreciate, we find that these geniuses may be conflicted within, fragmented within. They may be arrogant. They have social disdain. They may be eccentric. They may be egocentric. They may be destructive to the point of being evil. This limitation was perhaps envisaged by the Indian thinkers of ancient times. And they realized that the human being has the possibility of going astray due to the overemphasis of this need for self-actualization. So they propounded a very cogent thought called the Vedanta, which in essence is the wisdom embodied in the Vedas. They explained an entire range of human thought and action in the 4 goals or the 4 achievements of human life. They are also called the Purusharthas. We all know what they are. Dharma, Arth, Kam, and Moksha. What does it mean? Arth means fulfillment of yourself, your work, your job, the money that you earn, your status, the wealth that you generate. In short, the need for self-actualization is what Earth is all about. It's the economic, material side of your achievement. The second is Kam. Kama in Hindi is the fulfillment of your physical and mental pleasures that you seek in your life. Now we realize that both Artha and Kam actually explain the entire gamut of the need hierarchy theory of Maslow's. It's complete there. And the Western thinking does not go beyond that. But the Indian thought goes beyond the Arth and the Kam into Dharma and Moksha. Now what is Dharma? Dharma is the moral and ethical code. It is not against material attainment, but it codifies the manner and method in which Artha and Kam is to be attained and obtained on the foundations of moral and ethical principles. So whatever you do, the Arth that you do, the Kam that you attain has to be through the principles of dharma. This is what it says. So beautiful it is. So if self-actualization is the highest need of an individual, self-realization is the highest destination of an individual. If self-realization is the search for perfection within us, self-realization is the search for the divinity within us which is already existing inside. To repeat again what Swami Vivekananda said, if education is the manifestation of perfection within us, dharma is the manifestation of the already existing divinity within us. Now, how do we bridge this gap between self-actualization and self-realization? There seems to be a gap. This gap can be bridged when I go beyond myself and unite with the collective, with humanity, with the universe, with the cosmos. The great spiritual Tibetan leader, Dalai Lama, once visited awards. Baba Amte, who created a multi-utility colony called Anandvan, Forest of Joy. And he lived very close by to Nagpur, from the city from where I come from. Baba Amte created Anandvan, and in that he created the possibilities of honorable living for the people affected with leprosy, the visually impaired, the physically handicapped, and the socially disadvantaged people. When Dalai Lama meets Baba Amte, he asks him one simple question. Two great people meeting. It's such a great event. And he says, Baba, are you happy with the achievements that you have done towards service to humanity? And Baba Amte looks at him, smiles, and says, Your Holiness, yes, I am happy, but I am not contented. Because till the last man on the final frontiers of human existence is not liberated and happy, I cannot be contented. What a great thought. And Dalai Lama looks at him, smiles, and said, Baba, now you have become one with the universal God. Let's come back to Emperor Ashoka. What did he do? Since he was a warrior, he was waging war after war, and he was expanding his empire like anything. And one day he realized that I seem to be going against my own tenet of doing better than yesterday. I just seem to be doing the same thing over and over again. So let me think of doing something better. And it was Lord Buddha who opened his eyes. And he said, what could be better than war? Peace. And so Emperor Ashoka waged peace. This is a classical example of the journey from self-actualization to self-realization. So how do we come to this great principle of self-realization? It's not easy. Self-realization can come only through self-knowledge, knowledge about myself. How do we gain self-knowledge? As a psychologist, I know how difficult it is to gain self-knowledge. In 1917, Sigmund Freud, a very famous psychologist who is known as the father of modern psychology, propounded the theory of the three-layered mind. We have the conscious, the subconscious, and the unconscious. And Sigmund Freud realized that the actions that we do, which we think is by the self, which we call the self, actually comes from the unconscious mind, which is deep within, of which we are not aware. It's such a great problem. So how do I understand myself? The second difficulty is, only you can know yourself. Somebody from outside cannot know about you. You have to probe into your own mind. The third difficulty, he said, was understanding the subjective self through an objective mind was a great problem. It was like a scientific inquiry. Objective study of your subjective mind is like a scientific inquiry. Once Albert Einstein was asked, what is the biggest obstacle, what is the most important thing in a scientific inquiry? And Einstein said, absence of egoism. It's the ego, my dear friends, which creates the obstacles. Because it's your ego which defends you against onslaughts. It's your ego which creates illusions around you. It's your ego which creates delusions and prejudices around you and obstructs inquiry into yourself in an objective manner. So, is it an impossible task? No. Self-knowledge can be done. How? Through psychological methods and through philosophical methods. The psychological methods is introspection. Have a date with yourself every day. Talk to yourself. Look within your mind. Analyze your pluses and your weak points. And talk to yourself on a daily basis. Another way, another method is to keep your mind calm and relaxed at least at some point of the day. Meditate, pray. We have a beautiful method of yoga, which talks of right posture, right exercise, right diet, right thoughts, full attention, concentration, making choices through discrimination and discretion, and the inculcation of good daily habits, hard work, with full concentration, and also good human values of compassion, empathy, love, respect for all, dignity for human life. Life is not easy, my dear friends. It's a tough battle. It's a struggle. But you are a very privileged segment of the youth population of India. We all know only 17% of Indian youth go for higher education and go to colleges. And even less than 1% of that 17% goes to the IITs and the BITs. So you are a creamy layer of society. You should not be happy with small aims in life. You must aspire for higher aims. You must motivate yourself to rise to a higher plane and do something better, to leave an example behind. According to Maslow, majority of human beings are happy with the mediocre needs, and a very small minority of people aspire for this apex need of self-actualization. And they are the ones who actually propel civilization, who propel the progress, the development of any civilization, and leave behind a huge legacy and a huge heritage for us to enjoy and to take forward or destroy it. So my appeal to you is that empower and enrich yourself with these two beautiful principles of self-actualization and self-realization. For these two things will take you into, will blossom you into a complete human being, will lead to a wholesome human being in which you will attain not only success but also happiness and a sense of satisfaction.